This week on Chicago Beer Pass, Nick is back from GABF, and we got the crew from Bulldog Beer Co. in the house. It's been a couple years since they've been on the podcast, so we got a lot of stuff to catch up on, hear what they're doing, taste some of their beer. So get ready for that, and we'll dive into GABF next week.
The legend, Mr. Pete Crowley. I love Pete Crowley, man.
How's that beer? It's what you think it is.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. Every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski.
Hey, Brad, what's up? I'm Nik White.
And we got some special guests in the studio, returning guests.
Yes,
in
we
the
do.
studio. Bulldog Beer Co. is back. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us back.
Yeah, it's been, I think it was like 2 years I saw your text message. We usually
probably,
only text, like,
least.
I'm on my way. And that's it. But yeah, welcome back. You guys want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jerome Stantz, co-owner, founder, head brewer, graphic artist, jack of all trades, delivery guy.
And I'm Shari O'Connell, also now Stantz.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I do everything else, / co-owner and assistant brewer.
Her title's a lot more simple than yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got like 5 titles. Yeah, she's like,
I can't draw, so I get to take out all of that graphic artist stuff.
She does have one label for, it's a sour, and because it's nice and tart, we stylized it as Sherry Cant Art or Sherry Can Tart.
It's stick figures, and they're super good.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, we're usually talking about what's happening last week in Chicago, but Nick was out at GABF, and so
yeah, skip town.
It's a perfect time to have a guest on and talk about what they're doing.
It's true.
So a lot has changed since 2 years ago.
Yep.
You now have beer in cans. That's
we have beer on the market.
We have beer on the market. Yeah. So a couple years ago, it would have been right before we were licensed. So it took just under an entire year to get all of our licensing. Yeah, let's open up.
While we're talking about it.
Yeah, quick shout out. So we brought 2 beers today. Our 2 canned releases. We have Tilly, which is a mango papaya Hefeweizen, and then we have Kiss, which is one of our flagship beers. It's a Citra Hops Saison. The Tilly is 4.6 ABV, and then the Kiss is 7.4. So a little high on the beer judging scale, but still a delicious beer in my opinion.
Oh, what made you go mango papaya?
So my older brother lives back in my hometown, which is about 150 miles away. And 3 years ago, I asked him if he wanted to grow hops for us in his backyard. And we didn't really give him a choice. He reluctantly said yes, but it's actually something he's grown to really enjoy.
Okay.
But we put a couple Cascade plants, Centennial, Wilmette, and Northern Brewer, and we've only got yield from the Cascade. So as a thank you, he doesn't really drink craft beer. He sticks with his Crown Royal and his Bud Light usually.
Okay.
And his girlfriend doesn't really drink beer either, but she does like summer shandy. So we're like, let's do something light, easy drinking, fruity, and we had never brewed with mango or papaya. So
And they sounded good together, so.
Yeah, no. I'm digging it. I like it.
Yeah, it works. It totally works.
Yeah.
Well, cheers.
Yeah.
So part of your celebratory, part of the honeymoon was like you guys were in Munich for the actual Oktoberfest,
Yeah,
right?
We were everywhere.
I don't know if you guys know this about us, but we really like beer.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of
know that.
Yeah, I know it's very shocking. So we basically, when trying to figure out what we wanted to do for our honeymoon, originally he had said, let's get married in October, and I said, well, why don't we get married in September, and then we can go to Munich and go to Oktoberfest. And he was like, that's
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
Had either one of you guys been before?
No, first
Okay.
time either of us had ever been to Europe. He actually didn't even have a passport up until a year ago.
Right on. What'd you guys think, man? That's a bucket list item. We talk about it all the time on the show.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I think the coolest part about it, I mean, I can't remember who described it this way, but they said the fairgrounds is basically alcoholic Disneyland, and it is. There's rides everywhere.
Happiest place on earth.
Yeah. Rides absolutely everywhere, games, awesome food, and then you have the 14 main big tents, and then you have like smaller little like beer gardens for the smaller breweries in Germany. So the first day we were there, we're in Hofbrau, and their tent is a little bit more unique in that it does have a common area where you can just kind of like go and stand in the middle of the tent, and then it's surrounded by all the reserve tables. Whereas Lowenbrau, which is where we went that Thursday, you had to have a reservation for the tables. But
it was awesome, though. Yeah, we went to Dublin. We were there just for 2 days. It more was just like an extended layover. Then we were in Belgium for 5 nights, and then 2 different places in Germany for a total of 6 days. So it was a solid.
Did you guys get lederhosen and all
Oh,
that gear?
absolutely.
Yeah. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to, right?
yeah. So there's a little shop up in Lincoln Square called Designs by Ingrid, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's this woman that's from Germany that makes lederhosen and dirndls. So we went up there probably like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And then the Oktoberfest up in Lincoln Square was the week before we got married.
Okay.
So we practiced.
We got our drinking arms ready.
Yeah, okay.
So practiced there, and then, like I said, a week later we were in Europe. So
It was awesome.
yeah.
Were any of the beers you guys were trying to influence some of the beers you're thinking of brewing coming up, or any that you're currently doing?
That's actually something we talked about in depth while we were over there, trying to figure out. We both really like. I really like Belgian style beer. So I don't know if we will, but I know one of the ones that I would like to eventually brew is a Helles. They're probably one of my favorite German styles. Obviously, we'd love to brew some sort of Fest beer or Marzen, but that'll obviously wait until next September.
Honestly, the beers that stood out to me the most in Germany were the Dunkels. I've always preferred darker beers to begin with, and I think the Lowenbrau Dunkel was awesome. I'm trying to think some of the others. The hotel we actually stayed at had a brewery on the first floor, so we would just go down into the lobby, and they had a little brew pub right there. So that was nice. But their Dunkel was great as well.
It was a deciding factor when it came to where we wanted to stay.
If
We could
there's
stay
a brewery.
here,
Yeah.
or we could stay at this hotel that's cheaper
Priorities,
and it has a brewery.
Yeah.
I would say that, Belgium definitely had the more unique beers. I would say we went to the steakhouse one night, and they had kind of like a house beer, and it was like a tart brown that was aged in
Wine barrels?
I can't remember what kind of wine barrels, but that one was really, really good, and it paired really well with the steak. We went to the Belgian Beer Museum one day and kind of hung out there.
We were supposed to actually go to the museum and walk through it and learn about Belgian beer, but instead we just went to the bar.
It's the best way to learn about Belgian beer.
I
right?
learned so
Just
much.
think through it.
I've always really liked quads, so I'd really like to do a Belgian quad. We've been kind of toying with a recipe for a while using pomegranate molasses, and it would be a quad with molasses, so we'd call it Colossus.
Okay.
But we haven't done that on the big stage yet, so.
Sounds really good.
But now in Germany, you were like at Oktoberfest, all these big breweries have tents.
Yeah.
But in Belgium, there was no big central party, so you had to hit different breweries. What are some of the stops you made?
We went to De Halfman, which basically translates to the Half Moon, which you can actually get. I don't know if it's everywhere, but I know you can get it in Chicago. Their quad and their triple were outstanding. Don't drink 3 of them, though, because you end up shuffling around your hotel later, singing songs and talking into a pillow.
Okay.
Yep. There is photographic evidence of that. I think there's a couple Snapchats of Sherry just kind of talking to herself. But Yeah, the other cool
It's
thing
delicious,
about
though.
the other cool thing about their brewery is they actually have pipes that run underneath the city that go to certain locations. So they'll brew it at the brewery and then they send it through the pipes through the city. Yeah,
And that's in
it's pretty crazy.
That's in Bruges, where we stayed for 3 days. We were in Brussels, though. We didn't go to any breweries. Oh, we went to Cantillon.
We went to Cantillon, which was awesome, and then we went to the Brewdog.
Brewdogs in Belgium too.
Yeah, they have a brew pub there. We had their 41% beer.
Was it there's Sink to Bismarck and Tactical Nuclear Penguin?
Sink the Bismarck.
Sink the Bismarck, yeah.
Our first party, that's what we had those there. We were super excited about them a long time ago.
Yeah. I liked it. She did not.
It was very early for it. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I just wasn't...
You're not ready for it.
I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah, and it's more like a brandy at that point, right?
Yeah,
when it's like 30, 40%.
It wasn't even beer.
Yeah.
I kept putting like little drops of water in it, being like, maybe like it's like a whiskey. You put like a little bit of water, and it was delicious, but not for me.
Okay.
Where I just enjoyed the entire thing.
And he also enjoyed mine.
Yeah, to me it just tasted like a super strong barley wine because, I mean, it had that alcohol punch to it, obviously, but it also had a pretty big hop presence.
It was really caramelly, too.
Yeah, I didn't expect that much hop out of it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
And I've not had that one yet.
It's bizarre. I mean, I would try it once. One and done, really.
Yeah.
And don't drink an entire bottle of it.
No.
I'd probably die.
Yeah.
Or at least not feel good after you're done.
So you guys were brewing with the Lake Effect crew at one point, right?
Yeah.
We still are.
Oh, so they got, like, I didn't know Lake Effect had cans. I thought you guys might have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we go through Midwest Mobile Canning. They supply a couple other breweries in the city as well. A lot of the cans that you see with the shrink wrap, that's kind of one of their signatures is they do the shrink wrap cans. I don't think I'm at liberty to say what the other clients are, but we've been using them, yes.
Okay.
And now I have a question for you guys, if you
Yes.
don't mind me.
No questions.
No questions.
No further questions.
So we've been going back and forth with our next batch. I think we're going to do our coffee milk stout, which was really popular last winter. We're thinking about either putting it in cans or we'll go back to the bomber route. So the bombers, we've noticed, they don't move as quickly as the cans do.
Right.
But is it weird to drink a stout out of a can?
No. I think we're...
I personally don't think it is.
I hate
I
it.
think the...
You know, but I did see. I saw Hunter in cans, and I was like, I don't dig this at all. But then, like a month later, you're over it.
Yeah.
So it's a recent thing. I say yes, it's okay, but I didn't always feel that way until like last month. I didn't feel that way.
But
I
because
just-
you've had it in bottles before.
I've always had it in bottles.
So
Yeah.
if you had never had it or seen it in bottles, would you feel that same way?
No, probably not. No.
It's just, I
When
don't
you
know.
put it like that, I mean.
Something about it, and I've never thought that beer, even stouts out of a can, taste bad or anything. I don't know what it is about it. I can't. When I think of a stout, I think of it in a bottle, and so it's very difficult for me to like picture myself like cracking open a can and it's a stout. I don't know.
But see, like, you know, Oster Blues 1050, that comes in a can. That's one of my favorite stouts of all time.
That's
like,
fair.
I don't know. I've been joking around with her that
I gotta get
all
over
the
it.
Revolution big beers are moving to cans.
True.
Yeah.
All the barrel aged stuff's moving
Basically,
to
I
cans.
just need to get over it, and I am very aware of
It's
that.
tough. Like I really don't buy bombers unless I see something that we want to do here on the show.
Right.
Otherwise, I have zero reason to buy a bomber for myself at home.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather have a can and have a couple of them than one that I'm like, well, this 12% beer is great, but I'm not going to have another pour of it because it's a bomber.
Right.
Yeah.
That's...
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
They're starting to go. I know Pipeworks, even though their mainstream stuff is in cans, all their specialty stuff is still in bombers.
Yeah.
But other than them, other big breweries, I think everyone is shifting, making the shift
Yeah.
in cans, right? Or
I'm
already shifted.
I'm still seeing a lot of stuff from Mars that are coming out in bombers.
yeah.
We did a tasting at Capone's on Saturday, and I think they had 20-some beers that were still in bombers or the 750s. I mean, I would say they're the ones that I noticed the most that still have a ton of bombers out there. Which, again, I have no problem with bombers.
Yeah, I like bombers.
I've just noticed that our sales, tend to move quicker with the cans.
Well, yeah, like the liquor store right here, Miska's.
Yeah.
Their bombers are in a whole other part of the store, so you don't see them at all.
Right.
And so they are usually old and outdated,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what's happening with bombers. If people pick them up, they're like, well, this is old. Like, now why do I trust this another bomber?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
That's
and
fair.
I don't know. I think it would be incredible to drink like a 15% barley wine that's been barrel aged in a 16-ounce can, but that's me.
So then, how long have you guys been at Lake Effect? Like, how long has that been, that relationship, and how'd that happen? How'd that work out?
So it's coming up on 3 years.
Yeah, because I think the last time that we were on the
you were already
podcast, we didn't know if we were allowed to say that we were working with them yet.
Yeah,
since it was still really new.
Yeah, so it's an alternating proprietorship. So, they're the host brewery. We have our own 7-barrel tank in there. All of our cooperage is ours. We pay them to use their brew house, and then we use their bottling equipment, and then we usually split the run on the cans when we do the cans. But I think it'll be 3 years on this upcoming Valentine's Day. We actually went to Lake Effect and volunteered and helped them bottle and label their what was that one? It was one of their barrel age releases. I can't remember that off the top of my head.
Was that with the hope of trying to get in there, or just
that
to
was?
Be, like,
I think
just
we
to
were
do
just
it?
like,
Okay.
what better way to spend Valentine's Day than bottling beer?
Yeah, that was. I saw something from Clint that said, "Hey, looking for volunteers," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, do you want to do that? That could be kind of cool." And we did that, and we helped out a couple other times. And when we were members of the Illinois Craft Brewers Guild, we sent out a feeler because we were looking for. Originally we tried doing a Kickstarter that was unsuccessful. We did a couple rounds of investors that never actually invested. We got denied from Chase. We went with another round of investors and got enough capital to get a small business loan from Axion. So once we got that loan, then we started getting the ball rolling. So I just threw something out on the guild chain and said, hey, we're looking for someone to do an alt prop with. And Clint recognized my name, and he said, hey, would you be interested in working with us? And I said, yeah, that would be amazing. So we helped them out for probably a full year before even our licensing was finalized. Well, more than that, because we just got our license last November.
Okay.
And we've been kind of helping out with them. I've brewed, I don't know how many batches of their beer for them just to, get familiar with their system. So when it came time that we were ready to go,
you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I knew what I was doing.
And he trusted that you could do it.
Exactly.
He knew that we could run a brew day without having supervision.
Yeah, I think because it was not tumultuous, but I think there wasn't that trust built yet at the very beginning.
Okay.
But one day, we were brewing, and I can't remember what happened exactly, but Sherry stepped in, because I was doing the brew day, and Sherry stepped in and just took over for the rest of it. And I think once he saw her doing everything and was like, okay, they do know what they're doing. Like I can relax a little bit. So.
Yeah, we've had Clint on, and you've known him for a while too.
Yeah.
Clint's an interesting guy.
He's a cool guy. We like him.
I like that. Clint's a likable guy. We always do our Moscow Mules at the end of every time we go. He'd ride back with us.
Oh yeah.
We'd always finish off with Moscow Mules after Brewers.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I think the last time we saw you was when Phoenix was still around, and it was after a tour.
Oh, is that the bar on the corner?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't understand why that intersection doesn't hop more than it should. Like, it's right we're talking like Cicero and Montrose.
Yeah.
Like, there's never really been anything that's stuck there, But
I feel like Old
right off the
Irving's doing
expressway.
well.
Yeah, Old Irving.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
On the other side. Yeah.
I haven't been there yet.
It's really good. The food's
their
amazing.
food's pretty good.
I dig that place a lot.
Okay.
It's cool.
One day. All right. So what's the other beer? Let's dive into that
Kiss.
one.
So this is Keep It Simple series. It's a Citra Saison, Smash Saison. So 100% Pilsner malt, 100% Citra hops, and then we use Omega Yeast's Saison Steam Monster. So it's
Cans are a little full.
yeah. 7.5%, about 60 IBUs. Some people say it drinks more like a Belgian IPA, but you definitely get that unique Saison character out of it. And I think it plays really well with the Citra hops. It just gives you that very unique fruitiness to it. this is the first beer that we had people say, you know, this is a good beer, and you know, I think you would do well with this one. You know, I've always thought it was going to be our number one seller, and our black IPA has actually been the most popular.
Oh, really?
Which
yeah.
I'm so sorry we did not bring with us today because we are out.
Yeah, we
Well,
ran
that's
out.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we ran out of it on Saturday at the tasting at Capone's, so it's a good thing.
Oh, is that the not the Capone's Appreciation Day? You guys were just there doing the tasting.
Yeah,
Like,
we were just
separate
there for
day?
tasting.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, Capone's
We did do
Appreciation
that
Day.
last year, but
Yeah.
we got married on the Appreciation Day this year, so.
We had to miss it.
Right
Yeah.
on.
We had other things that day.
I thought, yeah, I dig that. It has like almost like a little piney taste. Like it feels, I don't know, it feels bright and it's outdoorsy.
Think
I guess.
so?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of getting
Alright.
that.
I like the
Well,
nose on this one.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's marmalade, but it's like not like orange marmalade, like lime or something, like lime and orange.
So I've found out through trial and error that one of my habits, or not a habit, but just something that I do is whenever we do can something, I shotgun one like right as it's coming off of the canning line. So if you shotgun a 7.5% beer, you feel pretty good afterwards.
Nice. Okay.
And I
It's
would
not
not recommend shotgunning the Hefeweizen because it gets pretty thick the last couple ounces.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, you usually want to go with those pilsners or whatever because they go down
Now the-
really easy.
The real fun thing will be watching him if we do the coffee milk stout.
Yeah. See, so
Watching
that
him-
should be
yeah.
the reason you want the cans to
I'm
happen.
gonna hold you to it, or I'll take a video and we'll
Yeah,
post it on
we'll
Facebook.
Throw it up on Instagram and
Yeah.
the tweets and
Need
all that.
all that content. That's what you
Yeah.
need. That's awesome. So what's moving forward? What are you guys trying to? What's the plan? And like, where can people find beer? Like, what's the?
Yeah, the best way to find out where we're at is to go to our website. It's bulldogbeerco.com/locations, and I have an integrated Google map that's got all of our accounts right there. So you can look them up on there. But we mostly are in the north side of the city. You know, we live in Roscoe Village North Center, so we focus a lot in that area.
Yeah.
So we're at, you know, Bitter Pops, Bottles and Cans, Capone's. We got a couple spots in Logan Square. Your Happy Place Liquors, Voss Foremost.
Stellar Wine Company
Stellar
down
Wine
on
Company.
Clark and Belmont, basically. Madison Vine Wines down in the West Loop.
Okay.
I'm forgetting.
Printers Row Wine Shop down there. And then we have a few accounts in the burbs, and then we have 2 accounts basically back in my hometown, which is about 150 miles away. But we go back every couple months and usually drop off a keg or 2 and a couple cases. Because ever since we started this, all the people from my hometown was like, "Where can I get it? Where can I get it?" And it's like, well, go to the one bar in town and
They'll
it's
have
there.
some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
How's self-distributing been? I know like Clint also does it.
Yes.
And it seems like he is
But
basically
Clint is big enough
like
that he can hire
crazy.
employees.
Yeah, but he's like still doing it himself some days, or it sounds like, or at least last time we talked.
Last time we talked.
Yeah. So I think right now, I believe there's 4 employees of Lake Effect, where with us, it is literally just us 2.
Okay.
So normally what I do, if I know I need to make a delivery that week, I'll work from home. We're both still working our day jobs, and I kind of plan my week of, I'm going to work from home this day, I'm going to run during my lunch break, and then sign back into work as soon as I drop it off. It can be a pain when you get the bigger orders. You know, like when you're having to lift 3 or 4 half barrels and then 12 cases, or, you know,
But we
that
love
gets a
it.
bit tiring. I'm really lucky I didn't shatter my kneecap a couple months ago, because we just have our normal car. We don't have an actual delivery van.
Okay.
But I was pulling a half barrel out of the back, and I usually set it on my thigh and like kind of ease it to the ground. But I set it right on top of my kneecap and just like slid it off of my knee, and that did not feel good at all.
Nope.
Okay.
But no crushed toes yet. And
Yeah, because I feel like the beer lifestyle is often feels glamorous to people that aren't in it, but when you're distributing yourself and doing so much yourself, it's
Yeah, I mean-
if you want to see the most glamorous part of brewing, so for Craft Beer Week, we did a couple one-off beers. One, we did a black cherry version of our black IPA, and we just did 2 barrels of that, so it was a couple kegs. And then the original plan was we were going to brew our double IPA, which we call the AK Warrior. We use Warrior hops for a lot of our bittering hops, but that one specifically is Amarillo and Kent Golding, so you get a little bit of the citrus out of the Amarillo, and then like a earthy piney from the Kent Golding, which is an English hop. So we were going to brew that, and we were going to put mango in it, and then so we're transferring the yeast to repitch it, clean the tank, and the gasket on the fermenter popped off, and I got covered in yeast and hops.
Oh, wow.
So that is the glamorous part of brewing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it happened, I was covered head to toe, and she comes running over, and she's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I'm like, all of our yeast is on the floor. She's like, "That's what you're worried about?" I'm like, "Yeah, like, there goes our brew day." And she's like, "I'm surprised you have an eardrum right now. It was that loud when it popped off."
Oh.
And he turned his head, so it just, all of that yeast and sludge just right down the ear
I was
canal.
cleaning that on my ear for 3 days afterwards.
Man.
But so we were in the middle of our brew day. Luckily for us, like I said, Omega Yeast Lab is 2 doors down. So I walked in there completely covered still, and the guy's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Do you have anything that I can pitch into this beer? I'm in the middle of my boil and I need something like right now."
Yeah.
It's like, "Let me call my boss." So made some calls, and he's like, "We have a Kolsch strain. If you ferment it at like 60, you shouldn't get any of that yeast, that Kolsch yeast character. So to be on the safe side, we fermented it at 58. Mm-hmm. And the next day we came in and it tasted like a super hoppy Kolsch.
Okay.
So we're like, we're probably going to dump this. We'll see how it ends up. And like I said, we did 2 half barrels of it, and we did it at festivals. And we had one guy said it was the best beer that he had at the summer Chicago Summer Ale Festival, which was, I looked at him like he was crazy. I'm like, all right.
Always awesome to hear. Like, sometimes you never know what's going to hit with people.
Yeah.
It's just-
And it was so funny. One of the stops on our honeymoon, we went to Cologne, Germany, which is where the Kolsch style of beer, that's the only place it can actually be brewed. Everywhere else, it's a Kolsch style. So it was so funny to drink these, like, amazing Kolsch beers and then to think about our Kolsch. Ours was it was basically an anti-Kolsch. Kolsch should be, really, really light, really low ABV, very, very subtle hop presence, very, very clear. Ours was like 8.5, really hoppy, hazy. The only way if we had done it, if there's only one other way that we could have made it any less like a Kolsch, and that was if we had used like dark grain and made it like a black Kolsch or something.
This is American Kolsch.
This is American Kolsch. We're just going to hop it and make it juicy.
Yeah. But it did turn out, and
it was actually really good.
That guy came back to our booth, I think 4 or 5 times, and he's like, "Are you gonna put this in cans?" Or like, "We're probably never going to brew this beer again. Like, this is a one and done, and we're never gonna be able to replicate this because I don't want another tank exploding on me."
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was the glamorous part. But yeah, it's stressful. I have lost several nights sleep worrying about sales and how I'm going to make deliveries and how I'm going to do this and that, but you do what you love.
Yeah.
It makes it worth it. When you have people that come up to you and you're like, "Oh, I've heard of you guys and I really dig your saison," or "I had your black IPA, this is really awesome," like that. It
makes it all worth it. Yeah,
for sure.
Where's your hometown, by the way? You talked about it being...
It's Kewanee, Illinois. So if you know where the Quad Cities are, or Peoria, it's right in the middle of the two of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. I went to school in Peoria, so it's 50 miles northwest of Peoria.
there's a lot of cornfields.
Lots of corn.
Lots of cornfields.
Well, I feel like we have to just mention the dogs before
Yes.
if people haven't
Yeah.
didn't listen to the previous episode. Name and
So, I'm gonna let you explain the Kiss, and then I'll explain the Tilly.
Okay.
So
There's dogs on both the cans.
There's-
Different
yes.
dogs on both the cans of beer we had.
Yeah, a big thing for us is, our logo is Beefy, who's on the Kiss can. He was my original English Bulldog. He passed away. That'll be 3 years in April. At the end of April, early May, he developed a cancerous tumor on his side, and by the end of it, he couldn't walk anymore, and the vet just kind of said, hey, make him comfortable. He doesn't have much longer. So that was heartbreaking for me. One quick side note is when we were married, our friend Kabari is a good friend of ours. He actually did our vows for us, and he's the one that was the officiant. And he wrote the entire ceremony personalized to us. And I was doing really, really good until he brought out all the people that couldn't be there, our grandparents. And
Jerome's godmother.
My godmother, and then I was doing good, and then he mentioned Beefy looking down on us, and that's when I started welling up. That was the hardest part for me.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah. But it's still. If I look at pictures of him, he was my buddy. I had him for 7 years, and tough times, good times, he was always there. So it was really tough for me to lose him. So a few months after that, I had always known about the Chicago English Bulldog Rescue, and we decided to start fostering English Bulldogs. So we fostered a couple of them. We currently have 2.
That we foster failed on.
We had a guy named Charlie that we got last September.
Yeah, we've had him. We adopted him in December, but it's been a little over a year now since he graced us with his presence.
Okay. Yeah,
he's a guy on Tilly.
No.
We'll get to her in a second.
Yeah, he's not on a can yet. He's going to be probably on our Kolsch.
Okay.
Yeah.
The real Kolsch.
The real Kolsch.
Well,
sort
of. Thinking about doing a coffee Kolsch and calling it Cheer Up Charlie, but yes.
But yeah, I picked up Charlie from the vet, and I called him, and I was just like, I just want to let you know we are definitely foster failing. He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, this dude is just sitting, laying on the passenger seat of the car with his head on the console, just staring at me. The cutest little face I've ever seen. We are definitely foster failing, and we did on Christmas.
And unfortunately, we thought we were going to have to put him down as well. He was really sick when we got him, and then he did a complete 180, which we're super grateful for.
Yeah. So we started fostering. We had Daisy for a couple months. Obviously, we can't name a beer Daisy due to copyright, but I can't think of words. Due to trademarking. There we go. With Half Acre. So we want to do a beer maybe called Dog Day, or I don't remember what we're gonna call it. We're gonna do some it might be a New England style IPA.
Okay.
That we'll name after Daisy. But Tilly here, the Mango Pie Hefeweizen, is named after our second foster, Matilda. And for similar reasons, we could not name the beer Matilda.
Okay.
So
another small brewery.
Yeah, you may have heard of them. They're very small, though. They're a little obscure. So Matilda, it was our second foster, and she was from a puppy mill. They pulled, I think, 10 dogs from a puppy mill, and we got Matilda. And up until then, she didn't have a name. She had only had a number. When she came in, she was just known as number 16. So we had her for about 6 months. Sweetest little girl in the world. Just wanted to just love you. She was adopted out. Unfortunately, this past weekend, she had started having some behavioral issues, and her adoptive family noticed that she wasn't really able to walk as much. They did some x-rays, and they found a tumor on her spinal cord that actually caused her to become paralyzed. So unfortunately, Tilly was put down this weekend. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing an event, a fundraiser with the Tilly cans, and all the proceeds going back to the Chicago English Bulldog Rescue.
Yeah, I was wondering how often you guys do kind of a fundraiser thing, because it's such an important part of the brand.
Yeah. So tentatively, right now, it's going to be November 1st at Bitter Pops.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be from 7 to 9. It's a Wednesday, so if you can make it out, that'd be awesome. But we're going to be every beer that you buy is going to give you a raffle ticket, and we're going to be raffling off T-shirts. I recently, not that I need another hobby or something to take away my time from other things, but I recently started wood burning, so I've actually been making custom Bulldog coasters.
Oh, cool.
That I wood burn myself, and then I've been making glasses as well. So I think we'll probably raffle off some of those things. I might reach out to some other breweries that we know fairly well and see if they're willing to donate any items, and all the proceeds will go back to the rescue.
Nice.
Cool.
Awesome. That's all right. Okay. We're ending on a downer here.
I know. Sorry. Wait. Tell me about Great American Beer Fest.
It was cool. It was cool. Denver's always a fun time. I think Denver's got Colorado's got 300 brews.
Jeez.
Chicago's got 71. Illinois' got 150.
Yeah.
These guys have 300. So
Yeah.
That's
I went
insane.
out there a couple years ago for a friend of mine's bachelor party, and we hit Left Hand, Avery, Upslope, Great
Stave.
Divide, Crooked Stave.
Mhm.
I think we ended up hitting 8 or 9 breweries while we were out
yeah,
there.
Copar's Great Divide and Cricket Stave are across the street. from each
Oh,
other,
really? Okay.
which
That's
is a
convenient.
Nice one
Yeah.
too.
There was a small one called Spangalang. I don't know if you ever heard
Yeah,
of
so
that.
that's all the same district. So Spangalang, Ratio, our mutual friend, all this stuff's in the same area.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think they do a good job of having neighborhoods focus on breweries.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode then, right? A little recap of GABF. Heard about your guys' story, and so we'll look for your beer that's at Binny's in Lincoln Park, and
Yep. Oh,
ran
yeah.
down the list of other places it's at here in the Roscoe Village kind of neighborhood. So yeah, everyone check out and look for that, possibly in cans, the milk stout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, given.
it's what the consumer wants, right?
Yeah. So where can people keep up on what you guys are doing and find out more?
The thing we update the most is probably our Facebook page. So it's just Facebook/BulldogBeerCo. Bulldog Beer Co.
And we're saying bold, B-O-L-D.
BOLD.
Yeah.
Yes,
BOLD
that is
dog.
another change from the last time we were here. Is we changed our name because originally we were Old Bulldog Brewing, but we changed our name because our trademark lawyer suggested we do that sooner than later.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another change in the last couple of years.
Okay.
So many changes.
We try to keep up with Instagram, again, just at Bulldog Beer Co., Twitter at Bulldog Beer Co. I think we have a Tumblr and a Google Plus, but
Never use it.
never
Okay.
use it.
Just in case. That's
Don't
fair.
even know what Tumblr is. So
Awesome. Well then, Nick, where can people find you then when we're not here?
Right on, man. I'm on Twitter at Nicosio.
And I'm on Twitter at BRAD, Chicago Beer Pass on Twitter at Chicago Beer Pass. Website chicagobeerpass.com. All the episodes are posted there. Links to iTunes, Stitcher, the YouTube version as well. And we'll be back next week with another episode.
Cheers.
Take care.
Thanks,
thanks, guys.